Hi, my name is Satchit. I work with Snowflake down here in Singapore in Southeast Asia. And I'm really enjoying the Machine Conference 2019. It's been very engaging so far and have been meeting a lot of analytics leaders in various industries. So it's been very exciting. Thank you. Yeah, so I manage sales for Snowflake here in Singapore and Southeast Asia. We have just recently started expanding in this region. Snowflake, as you know, is a cloud data warehouse solution. So it resides exclusively on public clouds. We have been successful in the United States and in Australia and also in EMEA in Europe, where we have launched on AWS and Azure clouds there. And just about early this month, in early May, we launched on AWS in Singapore. So that became our beachhead rather, into this region. And we are already seeing a lot of demand coming from customers, so which is why Snowflake has now decided to invest, and we are expanding our sales teams as well as our support across the region for Southeast Asia and India. So firstly, AWS has been a great partner, right, to us, because all our Snowflake services so far, most of our customers have been running on AWS, and the absolute elasticity and scale that AWS gives us really lends itself well to the architecture that Snowflake has. And this is where the differences between Snowflake and Redshift starts arising, right? So if you know, Amazon as a cloud by itself is infinitely scalable, it's instantly elastic, you can grow and shrink resources as you need. What the problem has been with data warehouse solutions, whether it's been in the cloud or whether they've been on-premises, is that data warehouses have not really caught on to the ability of clouds to scale instantly, to shrink as and when, or just completely shut down and not getting customers to pay for them, right? So Snowflake innovated in the architecture in which we enable customers to only pay when they use, pay by the second on warehouse resources, and when they don't use them, they completely shut them down. They do not need to pre-allocate resources, as is true with many other cloud warehouses, including Redshift and some of the other cloud data warehouses. We also do not need customers to scale compute and storage together, which is true in MPP architectures that Redshift has. We actually have storage and compute independence. So a couple of these things, and the last thing is the ability to Snowflake actually scales instantly. So if many users want to do analytics at the same time, whether it's concurrency or whether it's throughput, we actually give the instant scalability within seconds that no other data warehouse solution out there can do. So this is where we really differentiate ourselves in this market. So most organizations today are seeing traditional data warehousing aspects where there's ETL and then there's BI and analytics happening. But then there is a huge growing discipline around machine learning, around deep learning. And Snowflake has a very rich ecosystem of partners, whether it comes from the ETL, ELT space, BI space, or also the machine learning or data science space, where we partner with people like Alteryx, DataRobot, Databricks, and we also have connectors for languages like Python, R, right? All of these have built connectors into Snowflake. So what happens is, because of the architecture that Snowflake has and the massive parallelism we have, while you're doing your traditional data analytics and your BI work or your ETL work, we can actually also have a massively scalable environment for your data science work, which is completely independent of all of those other functions. And yet, those data science functions or those machine learning functions can push down a lot of the compute horsepower, or a lot of the computational aspects are pushed down into Snowflake, where we give that kind of performance and scalability, again, based on the qualities that I mentioned earlier. So we are enabling a lot of the organizations to become, to grow their data science practices to the extent that they need it to be, without having to compromise on the fact that they do not have enough resources on their backend data warehouse or their backend data platform, if you will. In Singapore, yes, it's highly regulated when it comes to the finance industry. Banks have been they're a bit averse when it comes to moving everything, or a lot of their production data warehouse workloads to the cloud. But we have had, in fact, some of our key customers in Singapore today are in the FinTech space, right? We have customers here who are in FinTech, who are governed by MAS regulations, for example. But they have, because we are in Singapore now, and Snowflake has the ability to prove to regulators or to our customers that the level of security they need, the level of privacy that we can build, the encryption that we have on our platform, is something that meets the standards of most regulators. And it's just a question of going through that exercise with our customers. So we do have customers in that space, but it's more of those cloud-native digital fintech innovators that are first, and then the banks will probably follow later. The fact that we have so much richer data sources coming in. It's not just internal operational data. We're talking about external data, social media, weblog, analytics, and then we're looking at IoT and just the use cases that all of that unlocks in terms of enriching your machine learning algorithms with all this variety of data and then making the businesses even better at predicting their customer behaviors, their churn analytics, and just around other use cases like fraud and stuff like that. There's just so many use cases that are unlocked because of the ability to now get all of this data together, and cloud has really been a big accelerator to get this done.